It better not.
There we go.
Hey everyone, we are live from the Founders. Welcome.
Hello.
We're really excited, y'all. So we decided that it would be really cool if we brought both of us to you at once just to talk to you all about community, really kind of digging into a little bit about introductions of community, what it means, how we built this community, what we expect as far as the impact of this community, how you're benefiting or will benefit from it, excuse me. And also we want to deep dive a little bit into things. Sarah Curcio, our programs manager, she did a great job doing a live on membership. I hope you guys were, really paying attention to that because we had so many questions and so many people that were a little confused from, the integration. So we want to always make sure that we're feeding you what you desire and deserve in this community. But we also want to make sure that we're very clear about our goals and objectives, because at the end of the day, we've always built an authentic community. We've always built a community that is all about making sure that we pour into people, but we also pour into ourselves. And we want to keep that momentum high. We also want to make sure that all of the individuals that have joined us over the last year that have not seen us show up and these lives together, or usually, Aarionna, I don't know if you remember, but usually it's the clubhouse rooms, right? It's like the double A's. And, that was the main thing that I believe was a great component to making sure that people understood what it looked like to, build community, to trust another person, to build community with, to be able to actually be open-minded about what it looks like to actually not build anything by yourself, but to really ask for help, ask for support. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because myself and Aarionna, we did not meet in person the first time. We met online, and we want to kind of deep delve back in that a little bit. But Ari, I'm going to go ahead and do introductions. I'm Allegra Jackson. The marketing medulla is what they coined me, but I am the founder of W.I.N. I'm also the CEO. Aarionna is my partner in crime, well, partner in community now, right? We can't say crime no more. But Ari, go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll get started.
Oh, yes, I am. It's definitely giving the double A vibes, which many people knew us for. I am Coach Ari. I'm the Clarity Business Coach, but I'm also the co-founder of this phenomenal community. I've been here since the beginning of just a good idea. And hey, you want to do this? And some downloads from the Lords on some phone calls, some late night, some early mornings. Me and Allegra used to be on the phone all the time. And so I absolutely love this community and I'm so excited for where we're going. But the conversation of how we met I think, is such a powerful foundational story of the community in itself. Because just that connecting and networking is how it all started for us.
Yeah, I agree. And for those of you who are like, okay, I see Allegra, I see Aarionna doing her rooms, right? But y'all, listen, we started right where you are. Like, we started, 3 years ago? It was just mainly like we're on Clubhouse and we're both running businesses, right? We're both looking for support, suggestions, right? Because we're listening to other people's rooms on Clubhouse. But mostly, I believe that one of the biggest components for me was that I was searching for my tribe, is what we called it, right? Like, we called it a tribe back then.
Yep.
And what I did, find, Ari, and I don't know if this is something that, you were talking about, and I'm saying the introduction to W.I.N because this is where our humble beginnings started. I was just like, I cannot find a community that supports me in my personal life and my business. I was like, I just don't see it. And I went to different communities, right? Which I thought was great. There were communities for, moms in business. There were communities for, individuals who were just wanting to elevate their lifestyles. There were communities that were just about business, that really was like strictly about, okay, well, you're just going to come in and pitch and that's it, right? And I think for me, it became I became lost on it, right? Like, because we were transitioning in a pandemic. And I don't know about y'all, but I had a business before the pandemic. So I wasn't jumping on Clubhouse just to be like, hey, y'all, I'm trying to figure it out. Some of us did, but a lot of us were like really struggling, trying to maneuver through that transition in the pandemic. And Aarionna, when I came to the rooms, I think one of the most intentional things that I feel, and this is why I think that the humble beginnings are important, is because I was okay to be open to receive first. Like
Mm-hmm.
I joined two communities, the Mom Link, the Hager UK Club, which I didn't
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of happening in the pandemic, right? Because we needed
Yeah.
community. And then I learned from those communities. Like I
Mm-hmm.
watched them and I grew with them too because I was like, well, I want to dedicate some time here, but I don't know if I want to dedicate all my time here. So let me see where I fit in. And so if you know Hager UK Club, I spent like 8 months doing a 6 a.m. room in that club, right? So that was one of the things I think for me, Ari. And then I also remember meeting you in the room where I was like, wait, we got 30 minutes of motivation every morning.
Yeah.
It was just crazy, right? But here's what I
Yeah.
noticed though, Ari, is that there were a lot of women that were just like built with community where they just showed up and everybody just came, right? I
Yeah.
think the women in business, the Hager You Can, right? I don't know if the Mom Link was like that, but I know there were like online communities like Five Wellness, Linus's Club, right? They all said the same thing. It was just all these people that came.
Yep.
I didn't have that experience with our community. It was
Yep.
like we had to search. So my search started with you, Ari. And when I showed up in your rooms, you had to show up every single day in order for me to connect with you. Like, I don't know if they know the story behind that, but I'm gonna stop there and let you tell it because you had to show up every single day that you
Yeah.
could possibly show up in order for Allegra to enter the rooms enough to trust that, oh, I like this girl. Like, she's speaking volumes. And not to mention that, let me tell you something I don't always say. Aarionna, the first day I met her, I knew she was powerful, right? Like, we know this, right? We know people are powerful, but then you watch them and then you
Mm,
go, wait a minute, and this is why I feel like it's important for us as community members, as women entrepreneurs, to show up for each other in the most powerful ways. Because if
absolutely.
I would not have asked for that support from you, Aarionna, we would not have
Hmm.
this community right now. So I'll end right there and let you have it before we go deeper.
Well, first of all, it's absolutely crazy to me that it's been 3 years. Like when you said 3 years, I'm like, wait, what? Are you serious? Because it often feels like it just happened. Time goes by so fast. That's so true. Because the fact that it's been 3 years is wild. It's absolutely wild. To know that we met on online and then went through the process of like I've been to Atlanta. She's been to Houston. She came to Houston first, and so 3 years is just like I'm mind blown. But of course, that's why I stand on my philosophy of like you gotta show up. Like if you're not showing up, you can't. People just don't know you, and it was definitely. I'm with you, sis. My business started before the pandemic. I had businesses before the pandemic, but the journey that I was traveling on to really get to where I am now in my business, I jumped on Clubhouse and my thought was, I don't know how to work this app. I don't know nobody on this app. My mentor sent me to that app. I was like, you need to get on it. She's like, I don't know how to work it. Somebody got me in. I got an invite. You need to get on there. They need to hear your voice. And I just think it's so wild how unafraid I really was to just open up a room by myself. Like, start the room. It's so funny that people are so afraid to start a room because I'm like, I was out here unhinged. I was like, here we go. Hey, you want to come in? And it was even more funny, guys. I was not allowing people to come up with me. I was like, nope, this is my space. Like I really had a really type of boss energy. It's wild to me because so many people are so afraid to show up on their own. So many people are so. It wasn't like my mentor did my rooms with me or anything like that. Like I got in there, I found the Women into Business. Right? Was what it was?
Women in business, uh-huh.
Women into Business Club, and it was at the time it was one of those clubs that lets you open up your rooms, and you didn't have to like go through jumps and hurdles. And I just started there, and I will say, like, it's something so powerful about being on time and on your post because we would have not been here 3 years down the line building this powerful, impactful, like, this community has impacted so many lives. It's wild. I was talking to somebody today, like, I don't think people really realize how much this community really did for them and us included. Like it's not just for all the people and all the women that we have in there, but for us as founders, like what it did for us. And to look back and say, oh my God, 3 years later, here we are. The community is thriving, it's growing. We're getting ready for our first annual full in-person meetup as a community, which is wild. Like it gives me the best feelings in the world. All just from like me deciding to be obedient, right? That was definitely it. It was the obedience from my mentor, and just being led by God to say, okay, I'm gonna go after it. And I think it's important that we as women in business understand how powerful it really is to just go after it. Because Allegra did not get it easy, y'all. Let me tell you something. People wonder why, y'all. Why would we seeing Ari like that? I'm not. Listen, y'all. I be head down working. Listen, one thing Allegra can say about me from the time she met me till now, I'm definitely a head down work person. So I will get caught up head down working. But had I not been there every single day and she wasn't like, girl, I'm going to connect with you. We are going to connect. It literally cracks me up. Like, who would have known we would be here today?
God knew. Listen,
He
I
knew.
didn't know. I was literally like, what is this in me? And I think obedience is really one of the first things that I learned about just having, whatever, whether it's, an objective in your life, a goal in your business, because honestly, like, there's some principles that you teach in your sections of the the world of business, right?
Mhm.
Because there are just certain things that you learn through the Bible, through Jesus Christ's life, that really can foster this understanding of how you're made, how you're created.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, there was a surrendering, y'all, before I met
Mhm.
Aarionna. Like, I don't tell that a lot, but there was a huge surrendering because I just got out of a 7-year engagement. Well, not 7-year engagement, 7-year relationship, but I was engaged, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
married, all these things, right? But here's the thing, God was like, no. So when so when I got into, the clubhouse arena, I was really assertive about, like,
Mhm.
I am not about to go in a place where I'm not fulfilled or I'm not going after my goals. So if
Mhm.
anything was a time waster, Ariana will tell you this. I'm like, okay, I ain't got time for it. So when I
No,
met
no.
Ari, like, to your point, Eric, community was really one of the things that was lacking for me because it's
Mhm.
strong Black woman in business, right?
Mhm.
You got to be able to have certain conversations. You have to be able to actually have a safe space,
Yep.
right? You have to be
Yep.
able to kind of grow and learn and develop. And I've been a part of things like my mentor, Miss Ernest Cummings. Shout out to her because she's our corporate partner here in the W.I.N.
Mhm.
But for individuals that are out there moving and shaking and doing things in business, I had to really hone in on two different spaces, right? One
Mhm.
space where I was getting the support from people who could hold me, right? Because I had a lot of questions.
Yep. Yep.
And the other part of this space where I need to connect with people who wanted to grow with me.
Mhm.
And Clubhouse allowed me to do both for a
Yeah.
period of time. Now, I
Right.
do want to say this, right? Introduction to W.I.N. We started out as just a community, y'all. And then one day, I remember sitting there with Aarionna because we had already like flew out to see each other and
Right.
already had a lot of rooms together. We made money together. It was all kind of things we did in that first year, right? First and second
Right.
year.
So much.
So much, right? Time flies when you're having fun. But it was very interesting though, because once I got the download, I want to just kind of emphasize this because sometimes people
Mhm.
are afraid to connect with other people because they're like, well, what do I need them for? But I had a
Mhm.
silent knowing, y'all. There was something in my gut that was like, I don't know why you need to connect with her, but just connect with her. I flew out to Houston without any idea as to like what we were going to do. I had no idea, but
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
enough about myself and belief system to follow through with it.
Mhm.
And I think, Ari, we talk about that a lot in community because sometimes we lean on community to do what we kind of want to do, but
Mhm.
we feel like we can't, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people need support, but they actually want to be saved. And I'm
Mhm.
really wanting to kind of like lean into the discussion a little bit more
Mhm.
because when you want support, community is there to really guide you through that support system.
Mhm.
That's why we
Mhm.
have memberships in different levels, right? Because you get
Yeah.
a basic membership where you just have a space that you show up and you can learn and you can see how we grow, right? People have
Yep.
been in that space for over 2 years still haven't got the membership, right? And we've gone over from, community to talking about nonprofits and nonprofits. That's a long time, right? For someone
Absolutely.
to be in a space. So we wanted to be able to, I want you to speak to this, Ari, because y'all saw the changes. And when I uprooted the group, Ari was like, all right, Allegra, I'm down. But like, this is a lot. Like, you really making these changes. And
Baby.
my goal, y'all, listen, my goal is to elevate. We like, what is the point of staying in the same place all the time, right? Because if I really didn't want to go here, we would still be on Clubhouse, having these little networking rooms, complaining like other communities. Where do we go now? Do we go to LinkedIn? Do we go to Facebook? Right? No, we believed in something bigger than just being on an app, and that's kind of where I started. But I wanted Aarionna to dig into that to kind of talk about her side of it, because listen, we're two different people. We have two different things going on in our lives. And I'm sure Aarionna has her take on how that impacted the community and what it looked like. But Ari, your turn. Go ahead, talk about it.
I mean, so here's the thing. I think the shifts are necessary. I think people are used to staying the same. So then when things change, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like, well, why is this changing? Why is this doing this? Because people like to, or I don't want to say they like to stay the same, they're used to staying the same. And I think sometimes we don't even realize, like, oh man, I'm not really growing. Am I really growing? Am I shifting? And I think we have to remember that growth looks different. When you plant a seed and you want it to grow, if that seed still looked the same, you would say it didn't grow. And so for me, although there was a lot of changes happening, I mean, we could say they were quick, but I don't feel like that. I mean, I knew they were coming. I knew they were
I
coming.
said, listen,
So
I was shocked because people were like, Allegra, we're a nonprofit. I was like, we were nonprofit last year. Like we changed over last year. I just made more announcements this year, right?
yes.
But Ari, you're right. Like, I think that, well, you keep going, because I'm just gonna stop right there.
Well, like I said, it wasn't for me. I can't say like, oh, it was a sudden change. It wasn't. One thing I feel like that we are really good about in this community is transparency. And so you're always going to hear us talk about it first. And me and Allegra used to do lives all the time in rooms, on social media platforms, everywhere, Instagram, blah blah blah. We used to do that all the time. You always can hear where we're going, and so this community is not about hiding anything. It's very transparent. So I can't say it was out the blue or fast or whatever. I think just when it hit, it was like, oh, okay, here we go. It's on. Like, this is it. It's happening now. And so it wasn't caught off guard. But like I said, I think we have to remember that if you planted a seed and it was the exact same it was last year, you would not be happy about that seed. You would feel like something was wrong with that seed. We would feel like, I need to get my money back. And so it's funny how people don't like change when it affects them, right? When it's something they want the change. Like, I want the change. This is what I want. My bank account's change. So where's the money? Da, da, da. But like when it affects them in a way that they weren't prepared for, or that they didn't realize how it would affect them, we act different. But I think the growth, the change, I don't want to be anywhere that's stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's true. Honestly, I've noticed that when we learn through the community activities, like to your point, like I've heard a lot of complaints, but then I've also don't see a lot of those individuals anymore, right? So it's
mhm,
like,
mhm,
yeah, I heard the complaints, but they kind of like didn't make it, right? Because honestly, as a community, we're not necessarily going to be able to cater to everyone, right? Like, we know that. We know
mhm,
that individuals who are really moving and shaking and wanting to do those things are really attracted to this community. They're really like, oh my God, I see Aarionna. She's moving. She's up there doing clubhouses and LinkedIn lives and this and that. I want to do
yeah,
that. And usually what you do also want to look at is your network. I have built
mhm,
an entire network just based off of the W.I.N community alone. That was my
mhm,
biggest thing. When
mhm,
I got on Clubhouse, I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely coming in these rooms, but half of the rooms I couldn't even get on stage. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, so what do I do? Back channel these people? I need to know who they are, because real networking does not like going on a house room and just saying, hey, my name is. Real networking, as we taught over time through the art of networking rooms, through all of our W.I.N conversations,
mhm,
that if you're paying attention and if you're listening, and this is why we tell you, invest in the community, invest in the mission. Because when you do, you pay attention. And that is that's the same with my programs. When I tell people, because as a business coach, I'm telling y'all, I was just taking my Nana. Okay. And this is an example when we just talked about social media today and how it all shut down. Right. And we're like, what happens to your business when you shut down social media? And I talked about it with Sarah in her room, and I said, community is all I need, because connections is really what makes sense to me, right? Because if I don't have my social media up and running, I can make a phone call, I can connect with people on my email, right? I can reach out because I know that I have the network, I have the connections, whether it's my clients, partners, affiliates, whatever. But we're in this lift, right? Because my Nana has this concierge service, right? So we take my Nana's concierge service, and she gets it for free. Y'all, it's crazy. I'm like, I was hanging with you, Nana. So we take the concierge service, and I'm talking to the driver, and she's listening to me on the Clubhouse room. Y'all listen to this. No, I promise y'all, no lie. She's listening to me on the Clubhouse room. I'm talking in Sarah's room earlier. And I'm just expressing what it means to really have a business and not just a social media account. Okay, there's a difference. And when we were talking on the room, the driver, after I got off the phone, what did she do? She goes, "What do you do?" And I go, "I'm a business coach." I don't say anything else. But of course, she goes, start the conversation.
Right.
So she did book me. We booked an appointment. I literally gave her this is how you make a sale, y'all. I'm just going to tell you this, just as a side note, because I hear a lot of this conversation, and because we're having this conversation from the founders, right? There are very effortless things that you can do when you have community. That word of mouth marketing is number one. So your grassroots marketing, when you stay in community, you show up every day. I remember Arinthia Duncan, shout out to her. I remember when she used to show up every day in the rooms, right? And what happened was she showed up so much that she canceled out every single other person that felt like a competition. And there is no real competition, because we've proven that no one can do what you do like you. But if you're really, sure about what you do, and you show up every day, you eventually will knock the competition out, right? That don't feel ready. So it's just hilarious what we've seen. And so I'm telling y'all that listen, Arinthia showed up every single day, and I'm now I speak about her systems everywhere I go. It don't even matter if they get the link from me, from her, because I have an affiliate link too. I just want them to get it because I know how great her systems is. I wouldn't know that if Arinthia didn't show up and be involved in the community. And she did her workshops when we started doing the W.I.N conversations, right? So we still have those replays. Shout out to you, because I still watch those replays, Arinthia. I still watch those replays. And, now I just reached out to her over the phone, and I said, listen, what do you think about doing a project with us? Because we actually have projects coming up, right? And we're going to talk about that with y'all. Because Dr. Al is going to be doing a project with us. He's a fitness instructor, as well as a trainer and a self-defense expert and a doctor of pharmacy. He's going to be working with us in our projects, because we have projects coming out for technology for elderly. We have projects coming out for youth and making sure that they understand STEM. We have projects coming out for women with breast cancer awareness. We have projects coming out for domestic violence. We have projects coming out for community food. We have projects coming out for health and wellness, right? So when I think about, networks, right, I'm just like, y'all are asleep if you feel like you have to keep jumping in and out of things, because the community itself over the past few years, I've not had to really do too much. I've really honestly done less and just showed up with the people consistently that I know, okay, listen, like I need to get to know more about them. Because if I can connect with you, whether you're a business coach, as I've connected with other business coaches. I just white labeled a business therapist. Shout out to LaShawna West. Okay. Like, she was our corporate sponsor. So I say all that to say this. I believe, Aarionna, the membership has really encouraged people to really show up in that way, because when you pay attention and you have no choice, right? Because you're like, dang, I got to get in that room. Dang, I got to do that accountability. Dang. But if you are really kind of like scared of change and a little shaky about like, oh, I don't really want to do it, I'm not sure, then there are some mindset things that are happening. And I feel like before you really completely insert yourself in community as a lead or as someone that's doing things. I think learning and getting to know about yourself and
Yeah.
really getting with the people like Aarionna, you do my work. So actually saying, and I commend the members who do this, they go, let me get with Aarionna and let me see where I'm at first before I take on a position of power in a community or before I start doing anything big in a community. I had a lady say she didn't even want to sign up as a VIP. She signed up as a regular 1999 month member because she said, well, if I sign up as a VIP, that means I got to show up.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I'm done with my rant, but I mean, you got to kind of know where, you fit into WIN. And I think that a lot of people have been doing that over time, but I want to do more of an encouragement of that too, Ari. So I'm done and we'll move on after that.
Well, it's funny. Yes, you do have to show up. But I think it's important to know, especially about this community. Like I can't speak on many other communities because I'm a part of mine. So I'm not in a whole bunch of different communities. So what I can say for our community is the showing up of it all. Like when we say women into networking, we're serious about that term, right? So it does take you to show up. And one thing I'm really hitting on right now is people to understand, like, the digital space, digital marketing, digital connection, like that all takes work. And I think somewhere we thought it was like, oh, it should be easy because it's online. That's actually false. That couldn't be more false. It takes more work because if I meet you in person, I can read your facial expressions. I can see your stance. I can see if you want to talk, if you don't want to talk. But online, you don't get those same touch points. There are completely different insights and data that you have to look at. And so when people say they have businesses and they have online brands and businesses and things like that, and you struggle with showing up, it's kind of crazy. It doesn't work in this community because we are truly talking about networking, and networking is not waiting for everything to come to you. Networking is literally the art of building relationship in a way that both parties are benefiting from the relationship. It doesn't always have to be paid. It doesn't always have to be, what's in it for me, what I'm gonna get from you. But there's so many different connections that I have made in this community that have absolutely nothing to do with the dollar amount. Like, and so understanding that, yes, when you decide you want to be a part of this community, it is, you do got to show up,
Yeah, no
especially because
choice.
we are so intentional about empowering women in business, right? So if we're intentional about you, you got to be intentional about yourself. Like, it's not even so much about us. Like, and I think that's what people don't understand is that we're not even looking for necessarily like the people who join the community to go out and build the community for us. Our community thrives, it grows. Like, it's organic, it's attraction. Like, we're an attractive community, but it's more so about like we gonna show up for you. And there's so many women who have came to our stages, came to our community, came to our spaces, who were scared to come up, who didn't know anything about themselves, who weren't clear about what they do, how they do it, fear of rejection, not having anybody to connect with, that we literally pulled them out of their shell and we can see them thriving now as strong foundational women in business. So I said all that to say that yeah, becoming that yearly member, it has showing up not because we need you, but because we want to push you. Is that like a good way to say it? Like, we want to elevate you. So in these tiers, and you see in that top tier, that yearly tier, there is a lot because our goal is to elevate women in business. Like, our goal is to make sure that you are supported, that you get the help you need, that you elevate. People who do not grow usually don't stay in our community, which for everybody, that should be like a plus. That should be like an exciting thing to hear because you're not getting in a space that's going to go dry. You're not getting in a space that's going to go stale on you. You're not getting in a space where they're not going to support you, they don't care about you, they're not going to offer you, they're just going to take your money. Like, why would you want to be a part of a community that is not consistently and constantly growing? So what I want people to understand about the tiers and the shifts that we made is that, yeah, you may look at that and be like, whoa, this is a lot. But I want you in the midst of your woe to really look at what's in there because it's all about supporting you.
Mhm.
It's all about supporting. You get to come on our stages. We want to interview you. We want to put you on a podcast. We want to blog about you. We want to recognize you. We want to put you in the running to get awards at the meetup. Like, we want to give you free tickets to the in-person meetups. We want you to be a sponsor. We want to
Well,
feature you. Like,
I want to speak on a little bit about that too, because I think I have a heart for some individuals who have like started out and they're just like, I'm just not sure where I fit
mm-hmm,
in, and they're trying to figure it out.
mm-hmm.
But where my heart kind of cuts off the boundary is where like you've been there for a while and you kind of still like straddling the fence. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know if that benefits me. Let me tell you something. W.I.N benefits every single person that walks in these doors. I don't care if
absolutely.
you come to a Clubhouse room, a LinkedIn room, a Facebook group, right? The difference, and this is what I think I want to emphasize, because we do have to end this live in a short period. So I want to be
Mm-hmm.
mindful about time because I have a recording to do at 7.
Yes.
I want to say this to everyone who is really unsure about, how they want to move, especially here in the W.I.N community, okay? Because this is a locomotive. It moves with or without you, just FYI, okay? We just want to curate the space. And sometimes I believe when we say safe spaces, I think that sometimes people misconstrue that for, you're just going to be nice to me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I want to distinguish this as the founder, as the owner, as the CEO. I'm telling y'all, right? And Aarionna will second me on this. We
Yeah.
don't baby you. We never will, never have. Now, we will give you opportunity, right? So, like, a lot of individuals have benefited from the opportunity. And you'll see a lot of those people as leaders now, as people that are, either they're, W.I.N mentors, because we did do a pilot program of that. So, thank y'all for
Mm-hmm.
helping us test that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we do have ambassadors now. We have people that stepped up. And this is what I found. I told Aarionna this last year. I said, it doesn't matter that there are people that may come in and out of community, because there are spaces for that too, right? There are people that jump in and out of community. We do not mind it. Like, do what you got to do. We are always going to love on you and welcome you. But our focus lies on the people who want to develop right now.
Yeah.
Our focus lies on the people who are like, yeah, like, I'm going to be a VIP because I know that that's going to encourage me to show up on every stage that I see W.I.N on. That way you don't have to curate your own stages. It really hurts my heart sometimes where I talk to people and they go, I've been trying to get my business off the ground. And
Mm-hmm.
I really have been trying this social media thing. And I really have been, testing these things out. And I'm like, well, have you talked to Sarah? Have you talked to TC? Have you become a member so they can help support you on the back end?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I kind of want to do it myself. Okay, cool. If that's your attitude, then this is different, right?
Yep.
Because we do not believe in just, self-sabotaging our experiences. We believe here in this community that collaboration is key. That's one of our core values, right? We believe in authenticity. That's another one of our core values. And
Yep.
so when you are authentically you, right, you can show up in any way, shape, or form in this community, and we're going to help support you. We have
Yep.
corporate partners, Miss Ernest Cummings, that literally is a phone call away for our members. I mean, she
Mm-hmm.
opened up her door and her phone. I
Yep.
would never have done that for y'all. I mean, I'll give y'all a booking link, but but to say, hey, you can call me. And do you know that there were individuals that were not members, were not actual listed members, that were able to get that benefit from Miss Ernest Cummings? And what I feel is that sometimes we have to realize that, and this is why we protected the space, y'all. We have to realize that it's not about being nice. We're going to be very kind about, the fact that we open up spaces for members. That's why Sarah added the basic membership, so people can see the difference. But my biggest thing, and sometimes my pet peeve, is that we really just want people to do the work for us. And we are not that community. We're not that community. We are going to motivate you. We're going to inspire you. We're going to give you all the tools you need. But you got to show up for yourself. You
Yeah.
have to show up for yourself. And here's another thing. We will make it a little uncomfortable for you
Mm-hmm.
if you don't show up like you need to and you're in this community. I'm sorry to say that. And that may
Absolutely.
be a little bit of a deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
Please walk out the door softly and close it behind you. Because as I don't know, as sucky as it sounds, right? I believe that if we enable an attitude or a goal of, I'm going to show up, but if I don't get results, I'm okay with that, then
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing is we're going against our mission. can't
Mm-hmm.
elevate you. We can't empower you. We can't take you to the next level. And with all the things that we have coming up for you, right? We want to make sure that you're in that place where you can benefit from it the most. So I'm going to end with that, Aarionna. I want you to go ahead and, of course, comment back on it, whatever you feel. And then, let's just go out with final words, just to make sure that people know how to connect with the W.I.N. But I'm just like, listen, I'm really empowered by this community. But at this point, right, we've done so much that if you want to show up, show up. If you don't, softly, softly close the door behind you.
That was her nice version. That was a nice version. I think the way you stated it is good. I stand on what I said. I don't want to be attached to anything that's not growing. And you shouldn't want to be attached to anything that's not growing either. The Bible talks about, a tree by the fruit it bears. He cursed the fig tree because it was not producing anything afresh, anything new. It was not doing what it's created to do. So when we talk about we make you uncomfortable and we push you, and it goes back to what I said, it's because we really support women in business and in networking. Like that's what this community is about. I know some people may not have had support in that way, so it feels different. It feels uncomfortable. It feels unnatural.
Like how it felt with you when I first came.
Yes, baby. Because when Allegra came to me, I was like, "Girl, what do you want? What are you looking for?"
I
She was
need
like, "What are you
community.
talking about?" I was like, "What do you want from me? Like, why would you just want to be my friend? You don't even know me online at that, girl. Bye." So listen, y'all, and what you have to understand is the co-founder is here for you. Okay. In the back end, I'm always the one that's like, guys, I've been on the other end. Let's think about it from this side where they're like, no, I'm like, y'all. So I understand it could be uncomfortable or unnatural to you to be supported, but anybody who really loves you and supports you would never want to see you stay the same. And that's what we need you to know and understand. We have phenomenal leaders. Of course, the founder Allegra, we have Sarah, we have TC, myself, and we all add different values to the community. For me, it's really helping you get very clear on your mission, your message, your brand story, understanding how to be authentically in your business. We got Sarah, me and Sarah connect, and we talk about organic marketing every other week. You got TC and Allegra showing up, baby. They be up at like 5 a.m. my time. It be 5 a.m. my time. I'm like, what are y'all talking about at 5 a.m., baby? What's the conversation? Or is it 6 or 5? It's one of them.
It's
But
it's six. It's 5 a.m. your time, six
it's
a.m.
5
my
a.m. right?
time.
Baby, I'd be like, what are y'all talking about at 5
We're doing.
a.m.?
We're setting ourselves up for success every
Listen,
single morning. We do affirmations, goals, and intentions. Aarionna needs to be there too. She's just complaining because she's on the other side of the fence with y'all right now, but she'll get over there sooner
I'll
than
be
later.
there,
We gotta
baby.
elevate.
And then in the next less than 30 days, I'll be back on my early game. But they're on there telling you about funnels and strategies and email marketing. And so what I want to leave here with is getting everybody to understand that if you were looking for a community, first of all, of support, of real sisterhood, of real live, we got you. We got you. Now that's one thing I can say about this space right here. Baby, we got you. We got you. We're gonna hold you down, but we're going to push you. And I think I said this in our leaders meeting. I said I think people need to be ready for what the W.I.N entails when they want to show up in this community, because it is going to require something from you. Same way your job does, same way your husband does, same way your kids do, same way your homegirls do, same way your mama, your brother, your cousin, sister, father, mother, and the Lord Jesus Christ does. So my that's it. Listen, this is the best community. I stand by that. The best community to be a part of. I'm excited. Let me say this. I'm the Houston leader too. So boom, boom. I'm the Houston leader too. And we put a poll out there, a post about people. I need some ambassadors, and I got some DMs, and I'm so excited.
Oh, someone did sign up to be an ambassador in
Mhm.
Texas. I don't know if you sent them, but
Yes, yes. She got in my box and said, "Sis, how can I help you? What do you need? How can I do it? What does it look like?" And she was worried because she doesn't have a business yet. I said, "That's okay. We've helped birth a lot of businesses in this community, so you don't have to worry about it." But just putting that out there, I'm looking for ambassadors and people who want to rise up as leaders, community leaders in Texas. Because if you live in Texas, you know, it is large. Okay. And while I have loved being the Houston leader for 3 years, I'm willing to share my throne. And so definitely connect with us, get to know us, get to know more about us. But one of the best communities you could be a part of. So that's my closing remarks.
I love it. All right, so we're gonna get out of here, y'all. I just want to make sure that we did our final words and takeaways for you. Aarionna, somebody is calling me and I can't get it to stop ringing. That's so weird.
I think we
But
should
anyways,
have a founders meeting, a founders live once a month, though. What you think?
I think that's a good
On the
idea. What do
founders,
y'all think? Y'all let us know with
y'all
hearts in
let
the
us know.
comments if you want a founders, because sometimes these things take time to catch up to you, because this is our first live just coming on, and I think sometimes we have to present these things as opportunities for you all to get to know more about us too, because
Yeah,
we got to know our community members on Clubhouse when we were there every single day. I don't know if I remember those rooms, but 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, we did a networking room for like a year straight, okay, or more
great.
than that. So when we talk about showing up every day, we're not saying this because we're like, oh, well, we just want you to be. We don't listen. Whether you show up or not, maybe somebody's going to be there.
Somebody,
We show up, and we've shown up over the top for the community, so we know what the results are, and that's
yeah,
why we're encouraging you to do what we know works. And when you are in a space like how we're encouraging you right now, and it feels uncomfortable and it feels challenging, those are good places to be in. One thing I love about what you said, Aarionna, is that you have people that make you feel very uncomfortable in this community if you're trying to elevate or go places, and I think that is for a reason and a purpose. Because no, first of all, nobody likes stale. Nobody likes to be in the same place, not getting results, right? Nobody likes that. But yet and still, we become a part of experiences that actually embrace it. And we are not going to be that community that's a part of that experience. So number one, get into the win. Okay, sign up as a WIN member.
yeah.
We're doing 30 days for her 3 month. That's going to give you the benefit of actually trying it out for 30 days without having to pay anything. And once you try that out for 30 days, you can see more access to our WIN groups, our WIN events, right? We have events in Texas. New Jersey just slam dunked it this past week. Like, what? And people that we never were able to meet in person went to that meetup because, hey, people are now coming back outside. So now what happens? Now that everyone's coming back outside, everyone's like, where do I go? Well, guess who's available? The WIN. So we're always going to be here for you. We're always going to be available for the people who want to show up. The
Yeah.
thing that we want to encourage you to do is show up for you. And when you do that, we're going to show up for you too. All right. So that's all we have today. Thank y'all for being here, and we will hopefully see y'all back here next month.
Yes.
See y'all later.